Good evening and welcome to another TAPP Talk Live. My name's Phil Richards from TAPP Water, and you're joining us tonight to talk about, or we're going to talk about, can you drink the tap water in Malta? A great question, and in fact it's really interesting to see that on the Facebook post alone there was something like 83 comments. So we're just going to hang around and wait a few minutes for a few people to join us. If you're joining us live on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, or Twitter, you're very welcome. And please, if you're joining us live, please do add your comments and questions in whatever platform you're on. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And we're going to be starting the show in a minute, which is about can you drink the tap water in Malta? But in the meantime, if you've just joined us, you can add your comments and questions, or you can just say hi as well if you're just joined us live. We're just going to wait around for a few more people to join. We're going to be talking about can you drink the tap water in Malta. I've got some slides to show you, a few bit of facts about Malta, and also here to answer your questions and listen to your comments about tap water. So please do comment in the comment box on whatever platform you're on. And we're going to go through a few bits of facts, a few bits of information. And oh, hello. Philip Grech says hi. Thank you very much, Philip. Good to see you. And please do, if you're joining from anywhere in Malta or anywhere else, just say hello if you'd like to. Test out the comments feature. And it doesn't matter what platform you're on, whether on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. You can come and say hi. And good to see customers join us, as well as new people or new customers that are just interested in finding out about tap water in Malta. So tonight we're talking about can you drink the tap water in Malta. We're talking about the TAPP water, tap, and we're going to show a few bits of information about that. And answer some questions if you've got them. And Greg Kassar, Ellie Doreen. Hi, Ellie. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining tonight. And I can see there's a few more people online. So let's get started then. What I found was really interesting. This is number 61 in our series of TAPP Talks Live. So what I found was really interesting was that there were about 80 comments or something like that on the Facebook post about the event. And it was really interesting because 17 people said yes, they would definitely drink the tap water. And that's one of the things you see if there are any posts in sort of Are You Being Served or any of these Facebook groups about drinking tap water. There's definitely a cohort of people that says, yes, I've drunk it all my life. Yes, of course you can drink it, etc., etc., etc. And then the opposite to that, we had 35 people who said no. And in fact, that's another thing that we see quite often in all these Facebook posts that you see. You get a very strong contingent of people is, no, you can't drink it, with various descriptions of what will happen to you if you do drink it. So that's sort of very common. It's quite interesting, I think, because it was a tap water post, and if you've not seen any of our shows before or come across tap water, TAPP water, tap water, we do water filters here in Malta, and some people may have read the question is, can you drink the TAPP water in Malta, the tap water in Malta? And indeed, yes, you can is the answer to that. So about 10 people joined the post and said, yes, they drink tap water, and that's okay. And interesting enough, about 10 other people said, no, I'd use a different system. And that was various. There were some under-sink systems, some reverse osmosis systems, and some inline filter systems. So I thought that was quite interesting to start with. The no vote got it. And I think it's culturally part of us in Malta, isn't it? Of course you can't drink the tap water. But can you drink it? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes, you can drink it if you want to. And the question is really, do you want to drink it? Now, let's look at that. So, I've got a bit of a presentation here that we'll look at. Let me just take this comment off the bottom of the line there. Please do add your comments in and questions and things like that if you'd like to as we go along. I'm going to keep this fairly brief. Joanne says hello. Nice to see you. Please do say hello if you've joined the stream. So first of all, tap water is highly regulated. It's regulated in this EU directive. It's monitored really carefully all the time. There's about 5,000 tests that are carried out. And it's more highly regulated than bottled water, in fact, because the tests have to be carried out really quite regularly and also published. And we'll have a look at some tests in some areas in a minute. So let's have a look at that in a minute. So one of the things about tap water is it goes in Malta. Your public supply goes through 2,000 kilometres of pipes and 142,000 connection points. Imagine trying to keep that perfect at all times. Really, not a chance. I think Water Services Corporation, since I've been in this sort of industry for the past 2.5 years, I have drunk water in Malta for the past 14 years, and it has definitely improved an awful lot. There's been huge amounts of infrastructure investment, and with over 2,000 kilometres of pipes and 142,000 connection points, that's a lot to manage. And what Water Services Corporation say, I keep calling them commission, what they say on the website is that water may be disturbed, iron sediments may be disturbed because we might be working on your pipes and stuff like that. And I think we've all seen that, and we get comments like on the question, can you drink tap water in Malta? Quite often the comment is no because it's rusty, or no because it's... well, one of the reasons why is because it's a temporary thing, you know, but temporary is also inconvenient, isn't it? But this is certainly something that happens. But with 142,000 connection points and 2,000 kilometres of pipes, I think we have to accept the enormity of what Water Services Corporation do for us in bringing us clean tap water, which is highly regulated, I hasten to add. So can you drink the tap water? Yes, is the answer. So if you've just joined us, please do add your comments and questions in the box as we go along. And you're also very welcome to, if you're on YouTube, I think most people are on Facebook, which is great, so please do like the page. Now, some people say, well, our tap water is really expensive. Actually, it's not. At 1.39655 per 1,000 litres, that's a cube, so cubic metre, up to 33,000 litres per person. It's actually quite cheap. So we're sort of about 32 in rankings in the EU. But if you go over in your household 33,000 litres per person per year, then it's horrendously expensive. And I think top three, it's about €5 something per litre. So don't go above 33,000 litres per year. And yes, it's nice and cheap, which is great. Now, in 2014 survey, not one person would drink the tap water in Malta. Oh dear. We kind of know that from our research from before, and just on the Facebook posts that you see about can you drink the tap water in Malta, if you see that in are you being served and stuff like that, not many people will support it, although some will, and we've certainly seen that. And actually I think we've seen more in recent years than we have in previous years. But this was a shocking survey in 2014. Nobody said they would drink the tap water. Maybe they didn't ask enough people. That was the thing. Maybe they didn't ask enough people. So let's get to the reasons why. Most people will cite the taste of chlorine in the water. I don't like the taste. Yuck, I don't like the taste. And that's because we add chlorine to the water. We add the chlorine in Malta to the water in order to keep it safe. It's a regulatory requirement to have the water disinfected. And Water Services Corporation will say that the amount of chlorine that is added is about 1 milligram per litre, or 1 part per million. ppm is one of those words that's bandied around. You'll hear people wanting to test ppm. Actually, ppm doesn't test chlorine at all. We'll come to that. It's really testing dissolved salts and electrical conductivity of the water. The addition to water here is about 1 milligram per litre. Now, interesting enough, in our independent test results, when we tested tap water, we did a before and after test. In our test, the chlorine was 1.4 milligrams per litre. So it was actually higher than the stated rate. And in fact, Water Services Corporation say on their website, what happens is sometimes you'll get a flush of chlorine through the system, and that's because they've been cleaning some pipes or doing some work. It also depends on your whereabouts you are in relation to the treatment centre. So, in fact, what happens is that if you're further away, then you'll probably feel that you'll get less chlorine in your water, and if you're closer, you'll feel that there's more. And also, you sometimes get these sort of flushes at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. So that's one thing, and we know that happens because we see people describe that situation on any of the posts, and in fact on this post. So if you've just joined us, please do ask any of your questions and comments in the box. I'm happy to ask you any questions if I can. And so that's about chlorine. That's the most cited reason for people not drinking the tap water in Malta. Because it doesn't taste nice. And chlorine is the problem with the taste. But we'll come on to a couple of the other things in a minute, which is tastes of metal and tastes of ointment. And there are reasons for that, and we'll find out in a minute. So, cloudy water. Yes, we get cloudy water here sometimes. Now, that means the air is trapped inside the water. Cloudy water is not a problem. If you just leave your glass there, it'll clear. It's to do with the air trapped in your water. It could be because the pressure changes. It could be the pipes in your residence. It could be working on the system outside and then flushing the water through. It could be all sorts of things. But cloudy water is not an issue, apart from the fact you might not want to see it. Okay, rusty. Now, if you've ever seen rusty water in Malta, which you probably have, like me, I've got a lovely video I'll show you just in a minute. Yeah, we get rusty water, right? All of a sudden, we suddenly get that rust out, and then it disappears. And that is because someone's been working on the pipes, either in your building or in the actual system, and in the pipes in the main system. So it just depends what's going on. Normally short-lived, but sometimes not. And in fact, what I do is let me just remove this, and I'll show you this video, which I'm sure you'll love to see. This video is just showing what happens when you get rusty water through. There's the filter off, nice rusty water. This is a TAPP Eco Pro water filter, and you can see that all that rust is being filtered out straight away. So this was in Umzida. It happened a couple of times. I managed to get a video of one of the times, and I always think it's quite amusing, really, because it's a really good way of showing how well the filter's working. However, with water like that, you would go through your filter quite quickly. So your filter won't last as long as before. And in fact, what happens is the filter will, with that sort of kind of rusty water, I'll just let that video finish. I think it's just about there. So yeah, that video just finishing there. This is actually what happens. This is what what kind of colour the filter will go, especially in instances like that. But also in some places, just in normal use over a period of 3 months, we would expect the water filter on the outside. This is the cover. We would expect it to be like this. This one is one of my favourite ones. It comes from Bormla. This was about 3 months in Bormla, and a client gave me this filter just to show us. If you've just joined us, I can see some more people have. If you would like to just add any of your comments or questions in the box, that would be great, depending on what platform you're on. On Facebook, you can just put it in comments, and that would be great. Ask any questions you want, or just say hi. Or even say you just totally disagree. That would be wonderful as well. So, rusty water, don't worry, that goes away. But yes, you can filter it out. Right, hot drinks tasting bad. I thought this was an interesting one. It's in your plumbing, says Water Services Corporation. And we have had quite a few people tell us that their water tastes of ointment or metal. That's the two things. Water Services Corporation here using the word disinfectant. I guess that's like ointment. So metallic or disinfectant, that's a reaction with the chlorine, and that's your piping in your household reacting with the plumbing. Okay, so you can filter that out. We have several customers, in fact. One in particular actually had the Echo Pro Compact and switched to the Echo Pro because they had a very strong taste of ointment in and just needed the slightly bigger filter. Most places don't get that as a matter of interest, and the Echo Pro Compact is absolutely fine. But it also depends on personal taste. We've also had some people that occasionally they will say the water's filtered and it comes out okay, but then when I put it in a pan or a kettle, it tastes bad. Now that's a reaction in that particular kettle or pan that you're using, and it's probably best to try a different kettle or pan or a new kettle, and then you'll be fine. All right, so why do my hot drinks taste bad? Well, that's why it's in your plumbing. Okay, so it's really interesting that, in fact, part of the highly regulated environment we have for water, let me just say hello to Reb. Hi, Reb, nice to see you. Glad you're online with us tonight. And also Rita. Hi, Rita. Thank you very much. Do ask any questions you've got in the comments section, Facebook, or just make a comment. That would be absolutely fine. And if anyone would like to see a tap water filter demonstrated, please do ask for that as well, and I can do that as well. So checking the water quality of your water, you can go to Water Services Corporation's website and you can check all the testing in all the areas. And in fact, this I'm just showing you on this slide, you can see where to do it. I actually found it quite difficult to find now because they've changed the website, but it's in the control room under water quality. And you have to go to the website there. It's on the slide. You can see it's live.wsc.com, and I'll put some links in the chat after the show. So when you go to watch the water quality in a particular area and look at your last things, you'll see something like this. So this was Ormond in November. Okay, it was just one of the. I just picked a central area. That's all. So there were like 4 things that I pointed out in this particular test, and these are quite common. The tests do vary in different areas, but the theme is really the same. Conductivity. Now, quite often we get questions about TDS. Okay, TDS is what some people will measure water quality with. It is not really a very good measure of water quality. And in fact, if you click on the little button which says information on conductivity, it'll tell you exactly what conductivity it is. So TDS is not actually what you measure. You measure conductivity, and then you use a mathematical formula, which approximately 64%, but approximately, and turn that into a TDS score. And some people will say ppm, parts per million. Okay, so TDS, parts per million, same thing, it's just a number, but what are you actually measuring? You're measuring electrical conductivity of the water. So what are you actually measuring? You're measuring how much dissolved salts there are in the water, dissolved salts and minerals, which will allow electrical conductivity to happen in the water. That's what you're measuring. So what it actually means is you've got a high mineral content in your water. Now, people talk about alkaline water being good for us, for instance. Oh, great, it's got lots of minerals in it. Well, the minerals that are healthy, like calcium, magnesium, selenium, potassium, right? All good things to have in your water, and sodium. All good things, not salt, sodium, right? Sodium and salt, different things, okay? All good things to have in your water. And in fact, Malta's water is alkaline. You can see it there, 8.1, that's an alkaline. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Reverse osmosis water is like 6 and below, and that's acidic, sort of, on the acidic sort of side. 7 is your neutral. So RO water is more acidic, alkaline water is more healthy, and there are plenty of minerals in the water in Malta, so you get a conductivity score that's quite high, and you get a TDS score, which is what people will look for, that is actually quite high. And with tap water filters, it doesn't change much. Okay, so you get a high TDS score. Why? Because tap water filters leave all the minerals, healthy minerals, inside your water, which is great. RO water, for instance, will just be stripped of all the minerals. And in fact, the alkaline water that we have comes from the addition of some compounds after the desalinization process, which removes all the minerals. They then have to add back minerals such as lime back in the water. And that's why we get limescale. Okay, so nitrates, 32.67 in this particular test with an EU limit of 50. Okay, now, one would think really 32 is actually quite high because you're like well on the way to your upper score of 50, right? You'd rather be seeing it much lower than that. And your nitrites, 0.1 milligram per litre, the EU limit is 0.5. So the nitrites seem more under control than the nitrates. But either way, you don't want too much nitrates or nitrites in the water. If you look up the health concerns over that, you'll find them. They're not really, really bad, but you probably don't want to be drinking too much of it. Okay, so nitrates and nitrites, both of which are filtered out by tap water filters and RO systems, of course, that will be removed. So if you've just joined us, please do say hi in the comments section, or even add any of your comments or questions. Happy to answer any questions either on tap water with a double P or tap water with a single P, whichever you would like. So this is quite interesting then, the nitrates. Ammonia wasn't an issue, but what was good is bacteria. No bacteria detected. Okay, one of the reasons why you get no bacteria detected is because you've got at least 1 milligram per litre of chlorine in your water, which prevents you from having bacteria or will help to prevent that, obviously successfully. Now, there's lots of other things that these tests that are publicly available are not talking about. And for instance, one of those things is trihalomethanes. Yuck, what a horrible name. Well, trihalomethanes, THMs, these are a product, a byproduct of your chlorination. So you put chlorine in the water, but then something happens, other things in the water react to chlorine, and you get things called trihalomethanes. So there's all sorts of names for them. You can see them on our independent test results, which are on our website. Excuse me. There's all sorts of names for them, in particular bromoform, and all sorts of things like that, ones with longer names as well. Now, this is a 2020 report done over the EU, which was linking bladder cancer to trihalomethanes. I am not an expert in bladder cancer or anything like that. I'm just telling you what the report says. The link is on the slide there. So there was a causal link, they were saying, or a potential causal link, I think is probably the better word to use, a potential causal link between bladder cancer and high trihalomethanes. Now, what I felt was interesting here is that in this year, the year of testing was 2017. So the mean of the testing results was 49.4. You can see that in the middle of the screen. The mean of the testing results was 49.4, but they varied from 0.1 to 79. So with testing, it's very important, I think, for us all to realise that testing is testing one little bit of water at one point of time, at one moment, right? Just that time. So it can vary a lot, but obviously you're more interested in what you're drinking on a daily basis all the time, and you can't be there with a trihalomethane tester testing your water every time you go and fill up the kettle. Okay? So the variance between the lower and the upper was quite interesting. Now, in our independent test results that we did on the before filtered water, the trihalomethanes level, because we test individual items, it's a very expensive test. We test actual individual items, so testing over 100 things altogether. The lowest was below 0.1, and the highest was 2.4. So in that instant, on our test, there was no issue with trihalomethanes, although one may have been a bit levitated. But, you know, when you've got, I think the EU level for that particular one was 50. Okay, so you're you're well below it. But with these causal links between bladder cancer and trihalomethanes, you possibly would decide that you wouldn't want to be drinking it. I would also say that in that report it was cited that Cyprus and Malta had the 2 highest levels of bladder cancer that was reported. So that's one issue. I'm not saying there's a problem with Malta tap water. What I am saying is that this report showed that the mean of 49.4 varied between 0.1 and 79, which means that if you wanted more consistency, you'd get a water filter, because then you've got consistency and you know there's never going to be an issue. Microplastics. I think this is an interesting subject because obviously we're into no more plastic bottles. And why are we into no more plastic bottles? Well, no more plastic bottles because it's a problem for the environment, it's very wasteful and they're hugely expensive. And the other thing is there is research to suggest that there is microplastics in bottled water. It kind of stands to reason because it's water in a plastic bottle. In fact, quite a few of the comments that we had on the Facebook post were things like, I don't like the fact that the local shop leaves the bottled water out in the sun all day. You know, I mean, those things are quite common, aren't they? And we've all seen that. So microplastics, is there a danger? Well, the research isn't out yet, but there are certainly causal links. It is deadly for marine and bird life. It hasn't been proved to be deadly for humans yet, but it has been proven that there is microplastics in our bodies and it is moving around, right? That's the way the research has got at the moment. There is no EU regulation on microplastics, so we don't test it from an EU regulation point of view. The World Wildlife Fund, they did a report in 2019, I was going to say 2020, but I can see it's 2019. They reckon that we, as consumers, are ingesting up to 5 grams a week of microplastics through vegetables, meat, fish, and water consumption. Those are where we get it from. So it's in our food and water systems. You can you can remove it from your water system by installing a water filter. And so that's another reason perhaps to consider that. No regulation, no testing, you don't know if it's there. But certainly the research is coming on. Do you want to be doing something about it, like when the research on the last 10 years has come out, or would you do something about it now? I got convinced to do something about it earlier because the regulations are always going to be after the problem has been caused. That's why they regulate. They regulate after they've realised there's a problem, which comes with loads of research and loads of data. But are there concerns? For sure, there are concerns, are there not? Perhaps you'd like to say in your comments, are you concerned about THMs? Are you concerned about microplastics? What do you think? Let me know in the comments section, please. Sometimes people will say, oh, it's okay, I boil my water. That's okay, isn't it? Well, not really. Boiling is very good at killing bacteria and pathogens, but just make sure you boil it for at least 3 minutes. But when I was doing my research, I found out that actually if you boil water and you've got things like volatile organic compounds, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, antibacterials, all of those things have a boiling point that is higher than water. Therefore, when you are boiling water, you are losing some of the water in steam, so you're getting less water, but the same amount of the contaminants. So same amount of the contaminants, less water, means higher rate of contaminant left in your water. And that's interesting, right? Have you ever thought about that when you were boiling your pasta? Have you ever thought about that when you were boiling your pasta? I didn't until I actually did the research. So Rita's asked an interesting question there. What type of water filter would you suggest? Well, I can show you what we do. We do things like this. This is the Echo Pro. So this is the Echo Pro. This goes on the end of your tap. This was actually designed in around 2018. TAPP Water looked at 60 different ways of filtration. from RO systems to charcoal and all sorts of things. And this is really what they came up with, something that you attach to your kitchen mixer. Now, why do you attach it to your kitchen mixer, or why there? Well, that's the last point before you drink it. So that's where you want it filtered. You know, you've seen in that video before, if you saw that, Joan, you saw the filtration of the rust and stuff like that. You know, that's what it's doing. So you're eliminating things like THMs, and you're filtering things like heavy metals, removing the chlorine, eliminating microplastics and stuff like that, or filtering out the microplastics, and you're being left with filtered drinking water. And in fact, the filtered drinking water is coming out of here, and the normal water is coming out of here. Let me just switch to this camera and I can show you in a little bit more detail. So here's the water filter. There's some numbers on top. That's to remind you to change the filter. You just turn it around manually. You attach it to the kitchen mixer here. The water's coming out here, not filtered. You switch that and the water is coming out of here filtered. The filter inside is like this. Do ask any questions, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you are online. I can see you on Facebook. Just stick your questions in the comments. So this is the filter casing, and if we unscrew this, we keep using this, so we reduce the amount of plastic we're using. And you can see I have a used filter in here. This is what a used filter would look like. And it has a hole in the end. This is a wire mesh. That's one level of filtration. On the edge here, this is PPE. So this is protecting the water filter that's inside. And inside here is one of these. So let me just get my camera angle right. Sorry, I forgot where the camera was. So this is what's inside, which is an activated carbon block. So this filters in two different ways. It filters through adsorption, which means it is chlorine molecules, for instance, are adhering to the surface of the activated carbon. So activated carbon is an interesting material. It is what they call hydrophobic. So it rejects water, which means it attracts other things. So chlorine ions, heavy metals and stuff like that will all start sticking to the surface. And also 1 gram of this, if you rolled it out, would be the size of a football field. So it's got a very high surface area compressed into a small area. So that's one way. The other way is it has holes in it. So things pass through, and anything below 2 microns is eliminated, is filtered out. Now, what's interesting with that is that the average size is 2 microns, but the holes in there are variable size. And that's a really valuable thing, because it means that coconut, which is the base material that we're using here, coconut husks have a very, very great quality for water filtration because of these variable size of the pores. Different pores will filter out different sorts of things. So very good at filtering out heavy metals, nitrates, antibacterials, pharmaceuticals, things called PFASs, forever chemicals. This combined with the adsorption is what filters all of those things out. It also depends at the different levels that you can filter. Some things are filtered out more than others. For instance, fluoride is about 70%, whereas many other things are like 95% filtered out. Okay, so that's what's inside the water filter. And if I just put this back together, I can tell you that there are 2 different types. This filter does 1,200 litres over a maximum period of 3 months. So 3 months is a really important figure with the Echo Pro, with this filter, because you must change your filter after 3 months. You don't want it to get to this sort of state and then not change it. So this is like 3 months. So also bacteria can grow inside after sort of 3 months. With up to 3 months on the Echo Pro, you won't have a problem with bacteria because the water's constantly being flushed out. but the activated carbon is organic, so therefore it'll start to degenerate. And the testing shows that up to 3 months you can use the water filter, then change it. Now, we also have another water filter here. This is the Eco Pro Compact. So this is the little version, the compact version. It's quite neat, isn't it? And it's actually the smallest water filter in Malta. This does 400 litres over a period of 2 months. So, just to make sure we see, this one, 3 months, 1,200 litres. This one, 2 months, 400 litres. That's the difference. So, if you were a couple, for instance, or a single person in a house, this would be fine. Change the filter every 2 months. If you're 3+, you'll need to change this filter every month, or this one every 3 months. And if you're more than 3, 4, 5, and 6 people in house, definitely this one. So about 3 people you could use either. This one you change monthly, this one you change every 3 months. 4, 5 and 6 people change every 3 months. 1 and 2 change every other month. It's kind of like that. Hopefully, Joan, that answers your question. Have you got any other questions, anybody else? Would you like to see anything else, particularly on tap water filters? I was going to quickly show you changing the filter in this one. Normally people will ask, will it fit my kitchen mixer? And I can answer that for you if you'd like to know. So the filter, these are little filters inside, excuse me, 400 litres, and change them every 2 months. And it's easy to change. There's no actual casing with this one. It just fits straight into the housing. But it's the same thing. You attach your kitchen mixer here, and here's the switch. You switch on for filtered water, which will now be coming out of here, and you'll switch off for normal water. What we also see is that this one, because it's a smaller filter, very useful in very low pressure environments. Both of the filters will deliver water at 4 litres per minute filtered. That's about 4 times faster than a reverse osmosis system. But you'll see if you're in a low pressure environment, this has got less of a filter. So although there's a very slight drop in pressure, this one has virtually nothing, and this one has only a limited drop in pressure. So I hope that answers your question, Joan. Please do ask any more questions if you'd like to. I'm looking out for your comments and questions. If you'll excuse me, I'm just going to have a quick sip of water as I seem to be coughing. This actually is a Bottle Pro. So this is our water bottle with a filter inside. I love this product. I've been using it luckily since about May last year, and we launched it sort of later on in the year. But here's a water filter inside the bottle. So it's like carrying around your own personal water filter, which is great, because if you don't want to pay your BCRS deposit when you're in a cafe or restaurant or stuff like that, then you can just ask them to fill it up from the tap and then drink it. It's great. You can fill this up anywhere. It's great if you're into sports and also, university, college, work, all sorts of places like that. If you didn't want to drink the, those 19-litre plastic bottles that you might have at work from that thing, because you might be thinking there's microplastics in there, you could use something like this, which is a filter. We also have these ones, as a matter of interest, in offices. Offices of up to sort of 20 people. Upwards from that, it can work, but it just depends on the environment. Do just ask. It's fine, just ask us. But yeah, 20 people can use this. You probably need to be changing the filter more quickly. Okay, so will filtered water be good enough to boil in an electric kettle? It's a really good question, but that's why tap water exists. And it is a good question. Don't get me wrong there, but that's exactly why tap water drinks. A lot of people in Malta will ask us, so after I filtered it, can I drink it? Yes, that's exactly why tap water was started in the first place, to eliminate plastic bottles for drinking water, because we think, really, you should be able to turn on the tap and drink your water. But most places you can't. Tap water is sold in 30 different countries. And it's sold in 30 different countries. Some countries have worse water than Malta. I know if you're in Malta, we never believe that, but it's true. Spain, where tap water was originally launched, has awful water. And in the States as well, where tap water is also selling, in some places really not so good water. And that's actually because of population growth has put the strain on the resources, so therefore you don't get enough good quality water. I would like to mention about the guarantee. When people buy these online, we're an online shop. We do have some retail outlets, but we're an online shop. You can buy this online, install it in your home, use it. You've got 45 days. In that first 45 days, if there's anything you don't like, we'll just collect it from you and give you a full refund. If, for instance, you had this one and you decide it's not working for you, you can change to this one. If you've had this one, we just say, well, if you don't like this, then full refund. And we collect it as well, so you've got no hassle. 5% of people will return it. So 95% of people don't return it. 95% of people keep it. So we're really confident when being able to give that guarantee, and we don't make any quibble. There's no. I'll probably ask you if you're using it right and just check a few things, but there's no argument about it. I mean, use it properly for 45 days. Live with it. See what you think, and then you can just return it if you want. Here's the guarantee. You can see on our website tapwater.mt/guarantee. You'll be able to see that all written down there. And very happy. It's always a disappointment when someone doesn't like it. I still take them personally, actually, after 2.5 years. But I still take it personally. But, it's the way it goes, isn't it? So, yeah, we don't argue about it. We just give you the money back and collect it. So here's a question from Reb. Can we filter the water of a river when we are walking with this bottle? What a lovely question. Thank you, Reb. I really appreciate that. Actually, with the filter that I've got installed in this, no. But in March, I think, when that shipment arrives, I will be having the what we call the adventure filter. And the adventure filter means you can go anywhere and drink anything. And you can filter the water in your bottle. It's quite exciting, but we haven't introduced it yet until we get a bit more traction on this. But yes, you will be able to do that. And that also is probably a good time to mention this product here. This is the TAPP Ultra-filtration. So the Ultra-filtration is an interesting device. This we use in Malta for wells and boreholes and tank water. Now, you shouldn't be having drinking water from your tank. However, if you've got an older building before the regulations came in, or you've got a situation where you haven't really got much water pressure coming in and you pump it up to the tank and then use the tank for your pressure and use that for drinking water, this would be the thing to use. So this is sold in places like Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala, India, Vietnam. Very popular water filter for areas where bacteria is a problem. We do not have a problem with bacteria in our tap water at all. However, if you're running through a tank, you don't quite know what's happening all the time. So you would probably want to use this. And I use this at home. This is very good on bacteria. It'll remove 99.9 or 99.8% of bacteria. Whereas the Echo Pro, the standard, is about 98% of bacteria. However, this one is best not used if you're using public supply water because of lime scale. Now, I use it myself, and we don't have too much of a problem with lime scale, but there is lime scale, more than the Echo Pro. The Echo Pro deals with lime scale really well, and the ultrafiltration doesn't because it's not designed to. It's designed for bacteria and dirty water. So bacteria is very well covered by this, used in wells. We've got it in several places in Malta with wells and haven't had any problems. and also with tanks or bowser water, or where people were uncertain. But as I say, that is a product really, if you've got public supply water from your kitchen tap, and most people should be on your kitchen public supply on the kitchen mixer, this is the product to use. If I change this camera, if you listen to that stuff inside, those beads, that's what deals with the lime scale. It's actually by deionization that we can deal with the lime scale. So it deionizes, it doesn't take the calcium out of the water, it changes the ionization properties, or the so that it doesn't, so it's not sticky, so you don't see it coagulating in your kettle or big lumps at the bottom. But you will see a little bit more if you use the other thing. I'm just going to take a sip of water. Okay, so do ask any other questions you've got. It's been lovely to have you on the show tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. This was one of the shows where we had the most comments, so something like 80 comments. And if you had missed it before, I'll just go back to these votes that we had. Out of about 80 comments, 17 people said they would drink tap water. They may have been referring to TAPP as well as TAP. I'm not sure, but the no vote was 35, so twice as many people said they wouldn't drink it as would drink it. And some other people referred to some other systems. So, you know, if you're left with plastic bottles as a solution, it's very expensive. You're possibly getting microplastics with your plastic bottled water. And now you've got to take it to the BCRS machine to get your money back, or it costs you 10 cents more. So what we could do is quickly, I could quickly cover the fact of free water. Kindly repeat where to order a filter. Well, let me cover that then, in my excitement. Well, first of all, Joan, thank you very much for the question. You can save 15% with the code LIVE15, okay? And you can order on the website, right here at www.tapwater.mt. We're an online shop. Delivery is free anywhere in Malta and Gozo, and it takes between sort of 1 to 3 days. We offer support between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday to Friday, and you can get us on anywhere on social media at tapwatermalta.mt. You can get us also at on the email hello@tapwater.com, and also we have a WhatsApp number. Now, if anyone's watching and you're interested in tap water filter and you're thinking, will it fit my mixer? If you'd like to see me fitting it to a mixer, just ask and I can show you, because I have a kitchen mixer right here that I can show you. Just send us a picture on WhatsApp to that number, 356-998-66142. Send us a picture and we will tell you straight away if it'll fit your kitchen mixer and if we need some special adapters. So kitchen mixers like this, if it's like this with a little aerator in the end, right, it fits. It's really easy. I might as well show you now I'm taking this out. You take the aerator out like that. So I lost the camera angle there, didn't I? So here's your kitchen mixer. You take the aerator out like that. Hopefully the camera will put us back into focus again. You pop this adapter in like that. Oop, put it the wrong way, sorry. You pop the adapter in like this. Sometimes you have to be careful getting the thread, so you just run the thread like that. And now you've got a thread that you can attach a tap water filter to, and you just screw it on. One of the things about that is it's really nice and easy, because then if you move house or change kitchen mixer, it's really easy. Okay. Asher, you're not seeing a picture. Is anyone else not seeing a picture on Facebook? Where are you watching? You're watching from Facebook, aren't you? Is anyone else not seeing a picture? Are you seeing a picture now? Did it come back, or was it just the other camera? Sorry about that if it went. But has anyone else not got a picture? Perhaps you'd just let me know. So just in case, I'll show you here. Still not seeing. Okay, but nobody else is saying that they're not seeing. So Asha says she's still not seeing. Will somebody else just tell me if you're not seeing a picture? You'll probably be able to watch the replay. Those are always available. So I'm just showing you here. This is kitchen mixer. You just attach the adapter to that, and then you can straight away attach the tap. Now we've also got a range of adapters like this. This is an adapter that we use, for instance, where we just need the same size as before, but it's just longer. So that's really useful for some of those kitchen mixers that sort of in a square that stick out over the sink and stuff like that. So we have a range of about, 15 or 20 different adapters. I think it's 15 now. No, I've just got some more today. 17 new adapters. One of the things I didn't see you, so nobody else has said that they're not seeing a picture, Asha. So you can order online. Was the answer to your question, Joan. You can order online, you can order by WhatsApp. If you're ordering by WhatsApp, it'll be cash on delivery or BOV mobile to mobile, that's okay. But if you're ordering online, you'll be able to pay with a card. And also you can save 10% with the subscribe and save option. It's kind of like a subscription where you just get the filters all the time. Oh, no problem, Asha. Yeah, you'll get it on the recording if you can't see it now. But I did want to just mention this one. This is the TAPP Water Compact Chrome. So this is the Chrome version, which is quite smart. I would just tell you, the chrome is on top of the plastic. So it's white plastic that's been chromed. It's not chrome metal all the way through. Okay, so as long as you know that. It is quite smart though. That one has we ran out of stock in just before Christmas, and now some more are on the way. They should arrive, I believe this week. They're going to arrive, which will be good. So that's it on the compact chrome. We've also got the Bottle Pro, and behind me you can see next door to the award. From the Ministry of the Environment, which is the Agents of Change Award in 2021, which we won, which was great. It was an award for helping to change consumer behaviour and having an impact on the environment. Because every single family that joined us, and there are over 3,300, I think, at the moment, 3,300 families in Malta, that's saving like over 3.3 million plastic bottles a year. Which is something like 500 tons of CO2. It's huge. The collective impact of people, of thousands of people not buying plastic bottles is huge for the environment. Yes, there is, of course, an environmental impact when you recycle. It's definitely better, and BCRS is they're doing a good job at that. And look at the millions of bottles that have been recycled. It's just inconvenient, isn't it? And if you didn't need to use it, if you didn't need to use single-use plastic bottles, and you can eliminate a lot of them from your, your Coca-Cola bottles, maybe you can't eliminate, but all your water bottles you could eliminate, and it would make life very easy. I've so far had about 8 items to put in the BCRS machine. I haven't put them in, but I have 8 items since we started, because occasionally I'll drink Coke Zero. So, yeah. So no more plastic bottles is good. So behind, next door to the award, that side, isn't it, is the Pitcher Pro, which is a jug that filters as it pours, and we'll do a whole session on that one as well. So have you got any more comments or questions? Tell me, do you drink tap water straight from the tap? Is there anybody that's come to this show that is one of those people that drink tap water in Malta, or doesn't know what to do with that? Then please do chime in and make a comment. And if you've got any other questions, please do ask whilst people are doing that. we're coming to the end, really, 55 minutes. So I'll be off to relax for the evening like you will. I wanted to thank you very much for turning up today. It's been great to be here and have all these lovely comments and questions from people. So any more last questions, please let me know. Chime in. Last chance. Okay, that's really great. I really wanted to thank you for being here. This is for you, to say thank you. And we'll go out with a little bit of music, and I'm really grateful you being here. Let's stop using plastic bottles, eh? Thank you.